Last night I was procrastinating. I was supposed to be writing this essay. I don't know, I just could not get into the flow of things. So I decided to make a list of 500 things. I mean, I filled up half of this brand new journal. But one of the things I decided to make a list of was reflections from this new year. Now, the new year's approaching very soon. I mean, I don't even know what date it is. It's like it's past the middle of December now. And I'm not someone who really believes that, okay, this is actually the start of the year, which I'm not going to get into. I don't believe that, but I also do take advantage of every reset or every reflection that I can give because I did grow up celebrating January 1st as the new year, and I did grow up celebrating Christmas, which I don't celebrate. I haven't celebrated Christmas in years. But because of that, I always had that mental conditioned reset of this is a reset, the new year. And I love the opportunity to reset, even if it is all mental. I'll take advantage of it. I'm someone who tends to reflect a lot, but during these reflections, I don't really set a time date where I'm going to, okay, this day I'm going to change, I'm going to start something new, because I know myself and I know if I want to change something, in most cases, I have to take it slow and be gentle with myself, because if you set these high expectations for these things, it's easier to get down on yourself and think you're a failure when you're really not. It's just that you set something that was just not, I don't even want to say the word realistic because I don't believe in being realistic, but something that was not necessarily in alignment with you. Okay, so let's look at some of these things. Now, this was sporadic because I was not planning on making this a video. And also, as I was getting ready today, I thought of a million more things, which I did not write down. So I'm sure there's more things that will come up. Let me just say, for me, every year I want to become more myself and more my soul. And I think that's the beautiful thing about aging. I was going to say procrastinate against time, even though time, we can go into that debate of time not existing, which I'm really not going to right now. Yeah, so every year I just want to become more myself, and it's not about how much I did in the year. And this year I was kind of going back and forth, beating myself up a little bit, because I'm like, what have you done? Like, what have you tangibly got done? There's certain things that I've been trying to do since the beginning of the year, and I'm still not successful at it. But at the same time, I took some steps back during this year. I could have stuck to the script. I could have stuck to what I originally set out to do, which was, okay, be consistent. You're going to do this. For example, like if I want to grow a podcast or something, I'm going to make a video once a week. But for me, I moved to follow my inner rhythm and my intuition and what's going on internally. And a lot of people talk about, okay, well, you're not going to be successful if you just give in to your emotions. But for me, I'm a very, very, very level-headed person. I feel deeply, I do, but I know if I am going through something and I honor it and I don't just try to mask it, like I'm not going through something, and pretend I'm not human, and also pretend I'm not woman, like I operate differently, and every week I'm going to be different because I operate on a different clock than a man's body does, which is a whole another conversation. But the thing is, like when I had these goals at the beginning of last year, I felt like it was kind of ego based, right? It's okay to have goals. It was not factoring in the transformations that I would undergo. Like, I did not foresee all of these internal transformations that I've undergone this past year. And so now it's been a year. I'm like, wow, that went by so fast. And I could look at it from that perspective. Well, what have I tangibly got done? And someone who from the outside would be looking in like, okay, well, you're in the same place. In certain aspects, you're in the same place. But I'm not, because I am so much different, and I feel so much more comfortable in my skin. I feel like I can talk to a camera so much better now, and it's something I need to work on. I spend so much time in isolation. So when you spend so much time in isolation, it's going to be more uncomfortable to talk to a camera, because I go months on end without talking to people. So you have to, sometimes you lose those skills, the ability to speak. And that's fine. I don't think we should wait for the perfect moment. I think that's the thing about having goals in the new year. It's like this chance of to take action, and I love that. And but for me, I am looking at the bigger picture here. And if I have to take 1 year back from my goals to go through an internal transformation, internal shift, to honor those transformations, to figure out what's uncomfortable within me, what do I need to sift through, what am I not seeing within myself, right? If I need to take a step back for however long I need to, I will, because I know in the end that will propel me so much further. Not that it's about reaching a particular destination, it is about the journey, but it will propel you further. That's not something that I want to change. I think that's something I want to bring into the new year. See, not everything you have to just disregard and change. Some things you think you want to disregard it because, okay, maybe it was not working for you. When you're always looking at the external results, you'll think something's not working for you. But sometimes what works better for you is not about becoming something and mastering something. It's about unbecoming and shedding layers of who you were not. If I had just pushed through on certain things, which was not in alignment with me, and at the time, like, I was not being inauthentic by choice. I was trying and experimenting with different forms of how I want to share my story, and you have to become the fool at anything before you become the master. But it's also about experimenting, because if you don't experiment, you don't know what's not for you. I learned a lot this year about the style of how I want to express myself, and I'm still experimenting with that. And even 2 months ago, I just feel so drastically different. I say this all the time. I'm never the same person I was 2 months ago. That is also a lesson I've had to learn this year, that it's okay to change, and that doesn't mean you have to disregard these past versions of yourself. I've felt so much shame this year about my creations, the things I've created. Deep shame. I mean, I have felt immense shame for just embarrassing things that I have done, because in the moment I felt like I was just trying, I don't know, I was trying to do something. I felt I was in I posted when I was in certain states, like in certain states that were not grounded. When I say states, I mean, I don't know what to call it, like spiritual states, where I just was not grounded in this dimension, I guess you could say. And looking back at it from a more grounded perspective, that's not the approach I want to take. But I had to learn also to forgive myself. And if you want to be a great artist, or you want to be great at something, that's what people don't see, that's what people don't show, and that's why you feel like you're the only one, and it's mortifying, and you can't even look at yourself, and you want to give up. But that's part of the journey. I'm such a long-term thinker, and I do feel like I have had so much self-love and so much compassion with myself. And when I start to think like that and those thoughts come up, well, what have you done? You know, like, you've had this, what have you done? But at the same time, like, that's looking at from such a 3D perspective. It's not the reality of it. It does make me concerned, because I feel like we do live in this world where we do compare ourselves, and we see people that are getting things fast, and they're on this faster timeline, and we compare ourselves, like, why am I not there yet? Like, why am I not there? And even my brother said to me a couple days ago, he even said this to me. He was like, you've been saying you're going to do this for years. And that really rubbed me the wrong way. And I didn't say anything. I didn't respond. I was like, wow, at least I'm trying. That's what I felt. But I really sat with it. And I felt, at least I'm trying. And I know I will achieve everything that I want to achieve. I know it without a doubt. I 100% know I will achieve. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. There's none. I have so much self-belief, but I also know that things that we create, if we are being authentic, they are, well, things that we create in general are always a reflection of us in some way. It's not all of us, because we're constantly changing, we're constantly evolving, but things we create reveal things about us. Even if we're not being authentic, that reveals something about us. So you have to do work on yourself. Like, you are the work. So the more the work that you do on yourself, the more your creations or whatever you're doing in life will thrive. I'm completely fine with the turtles race and taking it slower and thinking about, really reflecting and thinking and thinking. People are like, stop thinking, just do. No, actually, I would rather reflect, and I would rather think, is this really what I want? Because I want to be intentional with what I'm doing. Because in the past, I wasn't. And I really did not think. And I made mistakes. You know, I've had social media since I was 10 years old. And right now, only now is my frontal lobe starting to develop, right? And things that I want to even created a few years ago. It changes when you mature. And I am glad that things I wanted to create and I did not create. Because that was not me. I've found myself so much more through shedding these layers, through this introspection, through sifting through this back and forth of these debates within myself. And that's kind of the journey that you need to go on to discern your voice and your taste from the mass conditioning. Okay, anyways, I haven't even looked at this list. Okay, where do I even start? This is so chaotic. My journals are just so chaotic. No wonder I don't read over them ever. I just have them or I throw them out. What is with that? For the last few years, I've just lived in a new country every few months for a few reasons. One, because I just can never decide where to live. I just don't know where I want to live. And that's just the choice I've chosen. But I just would throw these very personal journals out, which is ridiculous. I want to keep all these, but anyways, okay, so I have written down things I'm releasing, what have I learned, not letting things linger, perfectionism, keeping things that are, oh my god, I'm becoming like my grandmother. My handwriting is becoming illegible. Keeping things that are me, and I have all these points under each of these categories. What do I want to bring with me? What are new things I want to try and add? And that's a very long section. Yeah, so I'm sure more things will come up. So where should I start? Okay, so things I want to release. Okay, being misunderstood felt destabilizing, but I'm letting go. How can I not read my own handwriting? What is this? This is because I've gotten so used to typing. Okay, release the urge to correct, clarify, and defend. Yes. Okay, so I feel like I definitely have released this, but this has been a major lesson for the last couple of years, I would say. I definitely used to want to protect myself when people would attack me because I felt like it's just strange because I've been in situations where a lot of people will be like, well, what's your opinion? What do you think about this? Or they've asked me a question and then I would say my belief on something as one would when someone asks you a question. This has been a particular situation consistently for me. And I would say my belief, they're like, well, why are you so sure? Like, I've never met someone that's so sure. And for me, I'm someone who constantly questions myself. I'm not a know-it-all, but this has been a major lesson because I'm not a know-it-all, but I have been in a state where I'm like, I know. Because I was trying to believe in what's within. It's really difficult to believe what's within when the world teaches us to believe what's without. And to the point that so many people don't even know what I'm talking about when I say what's within. It's not our fault. It's not anyone's fault. This is the world we live in. It's very difficult to hear your inner voice and your inner truth. And on top of that, to connect to your soul's knowing and blueprint. When I say I know, the only thing I will ever say I know is when it comes to things I've experienced, and like, I know what I'm here for. I know. And that can expand, that can evolve, that can multiply, but I do know what I'm here for because that's my soul's blueprint. To know things on a fundamental level, it's not something that you've been learned or conditioned or taught. This comes from going deep within yourself. And I believe we all have this blueprint. And of course, you, like, at your soul, you have that blueprint. And if you were to connect with it, really connect with it and believe in it, you would have that feeling of knowing. But when it comes to everything else, I question things. I can feel like I know, I have the answers. I've experienced surrendering my mind, going crazy, giving away my mind this year. When I say giving away my mind, it's like, I believe if you really want to have source, whatever you want to call it, energy flow through you to the point that you're not even thinking, it's flowing through you. You have these messages flowing through you, which we all can have because we're all vessels. And it's all about your choice and your ability to surrender to it, which I'm not going to get into because these are all just, it's like I'm a tree and these are all just branches, and I could go down all these different tree branches and I have a million things I could talk about. But in my mind, sometimes I'm like, I've seen this thought trailing. I'm like, should I go down that path? I'm like, no, I don't want to, because it'd just be such a divergent. Anyways, what was I talking about? Right, I was talking about gifts and power or something like that. So I just completely went blank and forgot what I was talking about, which is weird. I don't have to convince anyone, right? I can put these things into my art, and this has constantly been a lesson for me. Put things into your art, not people, which I know we need people, but I do believe my path is no, I need to put into my art. And I was constantly trying to save other people. This is not just the past year, this is the past few years, and I feel like this past year it's been a funnel. Like, no, you put it into your art, and release this needs to be understood. If someone asks you something, you can engage, you can have a nice conversation, but why invest your energy trying to get people to see your perspective on something? Why are you doing that? When I think about why I was doing that, I think I was doing that because I was just trying to believe in my gifts, because it's very, very difficult. Now I do feel like at this place of rootedness, knowing, but I'm not projecting it out. I think it's a very common thing when you experience certain things and you feel like they're profound to want to share them. And at the end of the day, consciousness is the real truth and the real reality. So when someone is speaking, when they're connected from that space, it is the truth of the world, and consciousness is shifting. But it's very difficult for someone to be tapped into that and to relay those things with purity. Anyways, okay, so the next thing is outsourcing my power, which kind of ties into the last one. But I don't even know if I want to admit this is so embarrassing. It's not embarrassing, but whenever I went through my spiritual awakening a few years ago, I mean, it's been over a few years now. I always say a few years ago, then I'm like, time keeps going by, and then it's like 6 months, and I'm still saying the exact same time, not realizing how much time went by, and I'm like, I don't want to do the math to count the months, because I just avoid mental math at all cost. But I became so obsessed with tarot readings, and I've never had one done on me, but when it comes to your gifts and remembering, because we all have gifts, right? Like, it's not, I call them gifts, but we all have gifts. We're all born with gifts, and it's just about finding your way back to who you were. We are all born with something unique and special, this divine spark or whatever you want to call it, and the world takes us away from it. All of us, we all become conditioned, or we go through trauma and we go through things. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about the divine spark and gifts. It's like you kind of have to unravel to find your way back to that child that was lost, and that child that had the purity of the gifts and the knowing. It was not believing in things outside of themselves, right? So when I went through my spiritual awakening, I kept like outsourcing my power, and I became obsessed with like looking for validation, not from people, but kind of was from people. And I really like don't feel like I've done that so much this year, but I have a bit. I don't feel like I need validation from people. I validate myself. And to talk about some of the things I have talked about or written about, you really do have to validate yourself. There's been certain encounters I've had with people where it's revealed to me how it's like I was still seeking almost for someone to confirm what I was saying or to someone to support me. And I realized that the more out there you are, the more you speak about truths, the less people that will support you. Because of that, I was sad. I was like, well, why does no one support realness? Why does no one support the truth? And that kind of made me sad. But then I realized, like, who cares? It's why are you even seeking? That made me realize, why are you even looking for that? You should just post something, not look at it. And that's something that I definitely don't do a lot, but I did do a few times. And I'm like, that reveals to me, okay, why it just reveals everything I do. It reveals to me what I need to love, not what I need to improve on, but where I need to nourish myself more and fill up my own cup. Now, at the end of the year, I don't do that. I don't feel like I need anyone to give me an opinion or support me. Not from this, like, I don't need you, but from this place of, I just am saying this from a rooted place. Not, I don't know. Like, I don't know how to describe that, but I guess not outsourcing my power. Oh, okay. This one's really interesting. And this is something I just realized a couple days ago. And it's not letting things linger. Knowing when enough is enough. It doesn't have to be catastrophic for something to end. Okay, so I met this person on a plane in end of September when I was going from Bali to London. And me and this person immediately hit it off. hit it off. And it was pretty shocking, actually. Like, it was just, those people you meet and you just immediately comfortable in each other's energy. You just talk forever. So should I tell the story? I don't know if I should tell the story because it's gonna get dark soon. But we talked for, like, I don't even know, 8 hours, 10 hours straight. And this person was like, I don't know. And it was weird for me because I'm not someone who runs into people much. I don't really go out. I'm not interested in dating, really. I believe the reason why I met this person is because I needed to meet this person to realize that, oh my God, I don't even necessarily, like, want a relationship. And this has been a new realization for me because for so long, all I ever wanted was love. And I guess this ties into the whole theme of not seeking things outside of myself. But now I'm realizing that I don't really want that. Like, I don't want to share that, my solitude or my time, with anyone else. And I know people are like, okay, well, I know a lot of people have things to say about women who want to be alone, but this is not coming from a place of, I hate men, or I hate this, I hate that. But this is coming from a place of, I genuinely feel complete now. And I realized this year, through certain experiences I've had and through this experience, how I just don't even want that in my life. I never talked about any spiritual things I have. They just opened up to me. They told me about these spiritual experiences they had. And I'm like, I never said anything about mine, but I had the same one. It was pretty specific. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Because I often do believe we do meet people for a reason, but that's not to cling on to people. It's often to learn a lesson and to guide us back to ourselves. I believe everyone on this earth and everything is to guide us back to wholeness and unity and to ourselves. So this person was texting me consistently, gave me red rose candle, whatever, and was like very, at the first, like, very romantic, like, meet me at this place and all this stuff. Was inviting me to certain things, and then flew from France, who's from France, to London, and to try to see me, and doing all these things. But it still was not enough for me because there are certain things that arose. Like, there were certain things I'm like, okay, well, I feel so complete with myself that I'm not going to go on a date with someone. I'm not going to entertain something. Like, I have things I want to do. I want to pour into my creations. I want to write. I have a million things that I want to do. I want to go on longer walks. I would love to start getting to hot yoga because this year I've hardly worked out. There's so many things that I want to do that will enhance my life. And I'm like, why am I spending my energy texting this person when it's like, I want more? Like, if I'm going to have a relationship, it would have to benefit my life more. It would have to make me like excited. And I just started to realize, I'm like, okay, it's almost like, I don't want to say harvesting my feminine energy, but I just felt like, okay, I want to end this, and there's no reason to end this. And it was not even a relationship. Like, we're just texting a bit, and I don't text guys at all unless it's like a friend. But I was just like, why am I spending my energy like freaking texting this person? And like, I don't want to. We had a good conversation on the plane. Like, sometimes it just has to leave it at that. Like, I think people like to keep their options open, but what is that really doing for you? No, I closed it. I had realized, okay, this person, if I were to, like, why do I want them in my life? And I really was like, wait, why am I wanting them? I realized, okay, well, maybe they're more interesting than most people, but yeah, there's things that we have in common to talk about, and things like AI, into music, not so one way, very dualistic, but at the same time, if I'm going to have someone in my life, like, it's going to have to be like sweep me off my feet romance, sweep me off my feet, really putting the effort in, not treating me like an option. Like, if someone treats me like an option, not saying the person did that, but if they do, then go away. Seriously, go away. Like, I don't need anyone in my life that's going to dim my light at all. Like, I don't want to give to people anymore. I've given to people my whole life. I've given and I've given and I've given. And I've been that girl that has been in a relationship with a guy that had nothing, no money, help them build from the ground up. Like, help them build from the ground up. And I've seen how that turns out. And I don't want to be that girl anymore. Like, I'm not going to be that girl ever again. Ever again. And I don't care. Like, I don't care. The thing is about love is, it's not about anything external. Like, you don't need money. You don't need these things for love. I've always felt this way. But at the same time, it's like, when you have within yourself, you don't need it from anyone else. So you can admire someone, you can appreciate someone, but it's like, I don't need that. And if it's not sweeping me off my feet to let me know I'm safe, for to create the container so love can exist, and to know it's not this strategic thing, then why are you entertaining it? Like, why am I going to give my life to someone else? I've done that for so long. And I thought it was the right thing. I thought I was a good girl. I was. Fuck that. Yeah, so something doesn't not have to be catastrophic for it to end. Oh my god. It really, that's the kind of what I was trying to say. Like, it does not have to be catastrophic for it to end. You can just end things. And the faster you make a decision, oh my god, I feel like people do not know how to make decisions in this day and age. And I feel like that has been also a major thing for me. Why has it been so hard to make decisions? When you make a decision, that's you being intentional. That's you being intentional with your life, believing in something. So many of us, we live half in, half out, and that was the case for my life for so long. I was half in for so many things, half out, because I didn't believe. But if you just choose to believe, even if you don't believe, brainwash yourself to believe. Seriously, brainwash yourself to believe, and whatever it is you want, because belief creates the structure. We think we need structure and then I'll believe. No, belief, when you believe something, miracles happen. That's how manifestation kind of works, whatever you want to call it. If you want something, you have to change your program. You have to change the code in your mind. You have to rewire your brain. And to do that, you really have to feel it. You have to sit there and you have to be like, I believe, and not just saying something and, okay, I wish for this. That's what I used to be like, I wish for this to manifest in my life. And I also knew, because it's my soul's desire, my soul's calling, that these things would manifest. But what I did not realize, and I do realize now, is that I don't have to wait. I don't have to wait. I have to change my internal self, my belief, and that will change the external reality. Okay, perfectionism. Oh my God. I struggle with this so much. And sometimes I write things down. If I don't explain it, I'm like, I don't even know what I was saying, because I could have meant a million different things. So I said perfectionism, fear. I said fear of time pressure, not flattening to fit in, and comparing. Right. Okay, so going back to what I said about the different styles of how I want to express myself, I feel like because I did not know how to talk, because I just spent so much time in isolation, I would watch so much podcasts and kind of explore what is the style that I want to do. And what I realized is that what I really want to create, I can't find the style. And I realized, like, well, what I'm craving is longer form videos. What I'm craving is people not preaching. What I'm craving is soul depth. What I'm craving is, I don't know, like just stuff like that. Taste. And I'm like, okay, well, I can create this. And also, that format allows me to exist in a place that's more me. Because in the past, when I've created certain things, whether it's been shorter, I was being myself. Like, I'm never a liar. I'm never not authentic. But there's layers to being authentic. You have to peel. I wrote an essay recently about peeling back the layers, and about how I am so myself when I'm with myself. But when I speak or something, it's like there's this barrier. And it's not that I'm being authentic, it's that it's the learned conditioning. And you have to shed all these things that are not you to come back to your center. So it's kind of what I felt like this year has been a lot of. It's peeling back layers, and there's so much more. I can sink into myself so much more, and that's to come. But I'm also understanding, like, I am where I am, and that's okay too, which does go back into the perfectionism, and not comparing myself to other people. Because when I would look at other people maybe being successful on a certain platform, like, well, I'm very much different than them, but the way that they're doing storytelling, maybe I will try that. And what I realized is, like, when I was trying to focus on one thing, it was just on one thing. Like, when I was trying to focus more on storytelling, it kind of compromised my message, because I was so focused on storytelling. I wasn't as focused on my message. And there's times where I was so focused on my message, I was just like preaching it. And but sometimes you do have to just dive into one thing more than the other, and then come back and dive into another thing, and then come back, and then you can just apply them all. I think that's what works best for me. If you just focus on one thing at a time, and then master that, just hyper fixate on that, and then come back, and then you have all the different skills. But I think this year's just been a lot of uncomfortableness with my creations, and like feeling so much shame because of that, feeling so much self-criticism, because I was trying so hard. Like, I was genuinely trying so hard, but things were not clicking or something. Like, it was like I was forcing the river. So whenever I felt like I was just forcing, going against the river, going against the current, I was like, okay, well, time to take a step back. Like, obviously this is not alignment. And I see now it's just because I was, there's just a natural progression of things that I had to go through, like I've said a million times now. Okay, so let's go to the next. Okay, so keeping things that are me. We always look at things that we want to change, but how often do we look at things that we actually appreciate about ourselves, and that we like, I want to keep this? So the first thing is no tolerance for shallowness. And even for myself, oh my God, because again, like, I'm not a liar, I'm not authentic, but I definitely still have a little bit of a mask, because it's not that I want that, I'm trying to discard it, but it's like, I'm so kind, I'm so nice, and I generally mean that. I generally want to give kindness to people wherever I go, but at the same time, it's like, I think sometimes me being overly nice comes across as shallow. And even when I talk on camera, I've noticed like, like I laugh things off, like, and I'm like, oh my God, you're just trying to hide your own death because you feel like people will not understand. And I continuously do this. And to this day, to every single thing I've created, I've done this where I've just completely not, like, I just don't put all my cards on the table, I guess, with when it comes to that. And also when it comes to people, like I've had full blown spiritual experiences and transcendental experiences with people, and then when I came to like their face, I just would completely not be honest about it, which it's just because that's very difficult. Like that's very difficult to be like, hey, I've had this complete experience, and I'm not going to get into that because this is not a very spiritual video, even though everything's spiritual. Okay, so no tolerance for shallowness. I don't care. I don't care. For a while, I was like, okay, well, I don't need to have, everyone in my life needs to have depth, or everything has to have a deep conversation, which is true. And I have realized that, like, I can have my parents in my life or from a distance. I can have my brother. I think me and my brother used to be very close, but as I come more into myself or whatever, it seems like he just has something negative to say about what I'm doing, and it's like seems to be like pretends to support me, and seems to be like my biggest hater or something like that. And just like lately, I've seen this side of him that's like, whoa. So unfortunately, I have to distance myself from him because it's like, why is there this rivalry between you and me, but it's not between me and you, it's just you and me, like your beef with me. And I think, yeah, when you do follow your soul and you start to become better at things and you're doing things that people maybe wish they were doing, because I don't really distract myself. I sacrifice a lot of things that people are not willing to sacrifice. It takes courage to do certain things that other people wish they could do. They start to hate you for it instead of understand, like, oh, you helped me, guide me there, which is sad. But I, for the first time ever, like, I've always been so protective of my brother, but the first time I was like, no, no. Like, I don't have any tolerance for bullshit. Like, you don't talk to me like that. Like, if you want to be in my life, then don't talk to me like that. I didn't even say if you want to be in my life. I didn't even say that. In the past, I would have said that. Like, well, it's not true because I've never said something so rude to my brother until this year. I was like, I'm done. All I said was like, I'm done with this. I'm done with that. Like, I don't want to. That's all I said is I'm done. And then what I realized is I don't want to entertain this because it's disrespectful to myself. Like, I don't care if someone's my blood. I don't care. It's disrespect. If someone's bringing me down, that's ridiculous. I'm not going to have them in my life, but I can also keep them from a distance. So I just, um, we'll text each other here and there, but if he wants to call me and be like, can we go deep in talking about creativity and talking about what you think the future is? And like, why am I going to give that person my energy when they consistently have not been there for me during my hardest times or have belittled me and put me down? So I have no tolerance for anything. I have no tolerance for shallowness. And this has been the way with my family for the longest time. And people where I've just had no tolerance, and I have cut people in my life. Now I have a more distant relationship, and I know it's okay. It's okay. My mom and dad, we don't have to have deep conversations. But so I do have them more in my life, but from a distance. But for so long, I'd never had them in my life because, again, if they were to be mean to me, if they were to say, like, put things to bully me or put me down or to swear at me, like, I'm not going to have you in my life. But now it's like they have learned, okay, well, I can't treat someone like this, and I can't talk behind their back and make up lies and rumors and all this stuff or whatever it is, if you want them in my life, but I can have them from a distance. But when it comes to anyone else, unless I'm working alongside someone, that I'm not going to entertain, like, in a shallow conversation. I mean, I think sometimes you work with people. I know in the future I'll probably have to work with people, and it's like they're not going to have to know my inner world, and that's fine. But when it comes to anything else, like, I'm not going to entertain a conversation. I'm thinking of a couple instances, like when I was in Bali, because I was there for quite a while this year. This guy came up to me and he was talking to me, and I was not interested at all. but I'm just a nice person. Like, I'm a nice person, so I usually will just talk to anyone who's in front of me. But what I've learned is when you talk and you're nice to a guy, like, they literally think you're flirting or something. But he just sat down beside me, and I was just working my laptop, and I ordered dinner, and he ordered dinner as well right beside me, and I was like giving my energy to him instead of um myself. And he was saying, oh my god, like, you're going on saying how this is the best conversation he's had since he's been here, all this bullshit, saying, oh my god, you're so different, you're the only girl in Bali that's like this. I'm sure they say it to every girl, but I was just like, why did I entertain an hour long conversation when I was not interested just because it's being nice? And he felt like it was so deep, and I was like, this is draining me. So I just am not doing that anymore, which goes into people pleasing, which is something I've been trying to break for years, but I feel like I'm definitely like gaining my backbone, which I love. I don't think other people love because they can't walk over me anymore. I don't even know what I wrote here. Okay, so I'll just skip those because I don't even know what I said. Right, this one is good. So I have worked on so many things this year, and I just have not done anything with them. I've started so many writing different pieces. I have made so many video things that I have not released, and I've released some things, and it crawls at my skin because I feel like it's so far from me. It's like a little sliver of me, like one little sliver, and it doesn't capture me well. I don't know. I was just, experimenting. And this is going also into surrendering the perfectionism. Those themes tie in here, but also understanding the artist's way is a marathon. And sometimes when you create something, there's going to be just something feels off about it. And it just feels like I've been 30 hours into editing something, and I just I can't, like, I just was like, I can't finish this. I don't know what it is. It's not clicking in my head. I've done that more times than I can count. I put hundreds, not probably thousands of hours into things, and I just not done things with them. And there's times I post something because I'm like, I put so much time into this, but I don't feel like it resonates with me anymore, or I didn't capture what I was trying to do well. And I was trying to like express something, and it just came across as like not the way I wanted. But I'm trying to, in this year, I'm trying to complete things. And I think this also ties into my body. Like, I felt so much in my body this year about how hard it is to just sit down. And I think this goes into the programming of my DNA and my past, and how a woman in my lineage would constantly, like, their worth felt like they came out from doing things, running around the house, like needing to do a million things. And I look at my mother and I look at my grandmother, that's what they would constantly do. They're constantly doing this, cooking, cleaning, just running around doing a million things. And that gets passed down to us. And I think that's where that comes from. It's like my ability to just not sit down. Once I sit down and I fixate and I get into flow, I can really lock in, and I can sit there for 12 hours and just focus. Last week I was in this trance almost. I was just writing. I wrote 3 major essays, which is quite a bit. I wrote them in like 5 days, and they were quite deep topics and quite long. And I'm not someone who has written so many essays in my life so far, so to take on that and to write essays and things like that, it was quite a lot. But I finished them, and I was so happy about it. And in 2026, this year coming up, I definitely feel the call to not dance around things anymore. And I've been talking about this for a couple of years, like, oh my god, stop dancing around things. And I still do it. It probably does tie into avoidance tendencies as well, but I feel like I have sifted through all this stuff so much. Now I'm just ready to sit down and get the core of the work done, because I also do feel I feel ready. I feel more in my core. Yes, there's more that I can improve on, but I feel like I can create now, and it's okay. Like, I have psychoanalyzed myself so much to the point that if anyone has anything to say about me, it's okay, because no one has criticized me more than I've criticized myself. And I cringe at myself or things I've created. But I'm like, I cringe because I'm like, it's not me. It's not giving what I wanted to give. But that's the part about the artist way, is that it's a whole process. And we are also people. I'm laughing because I wrote something recently about how maybe we're not even human, which yeah, it doesn't even make sense. This I'm not going to get to. But um, it really is a marathon, and rest is just as important to productivity and to the long haul as anything else. And walks, I have gone through cycles where I've neglected my physical health because I'm always will eat healthy. I will never not eat healthy. It's easy for me to eat clean. But I definitely I've hardly been to the gym in like 2 years, just because also I've been traveling so much and I'm constantly in a new environment and so many places where I'm at. It takes so much time, okay, to research a gym, and I know I'm just making excuses. And then like when you go join a gym, it's like $300 join fee, and I'm only here for a couple months. I'm like, okay, no, I don't know. I have found long walks work really well for me, and I've been doing them consistently for the last few months, except the last 2 weeks. I completely stopped because I'm like, oh my god, I have so much to do, which was a major excuse. And I've noticed how much more productive I am when I do go on a long 2-hour walk every day. So just understanding that it's not about fast, it's not about getting anywhere fast. And I know the ego wants you to, but understand that if you're going to get anywhere fast, then you're probably just not doing the right thing. So the faster that you surrender to the artist's way, the faster that you just get uncomfortable and understand it's okay to be seen, not where you want to be yet. Because I think that's like, I just will delete things, and because it's just very uncomfortable. Like, I'll just start comparing myself. I'll go on a spiral and be like, well, why can't other people talk to a camera naturally, not understanding like they probably had the same awkward phase, and if they didn't, like maybe that comes more naturally to them. It's weird. It's like I have this love for film and love for anything with film and cameras. Like, I love cameras. I love everything with to do with that and creation. But that doesn't mean it's going to come naturally to you, right? So I wrote a key point here. It's not always about what you get done tangibly, and that's the ego. Sometimes you have to unravel, shedding cycles, like I said, which ties into what I was saying earlier about you are the work. We really are the work. So I look at myself a year ago, and I just was not myself at all. I was like trying to do things, which was fun. I'm not a bad person for trying. Like, I know there's nothing to ever fear because my intentions were good. But now I'm like, ugh, you were trying other people's methods that work for them because they have a more bubbly personality, or they have a personality that works like that, or they have a nervous system that works like that. But for me, I've realized that I can't create like that, and I'm sure that I will still create things in the future, and it will not be completely where I want it to be or my vision, and I'll be like, why did I do that? Because I tend to do that quite a bit. But also, like, I have so much behind my belt of understanding what does not work for me, and I have a pretty clear view and plan, I guess you could say, about now, like, how I want to move forward. And I'm happy that I did take that time, because if I were to continue and just, going against the wall, doing things and not working with longevity here, like, what I'm doing now is a plan for longevity. It's something that I feel like I could sustain, something that more resonates with my soul. Okay, so what are some new things that I want to add and try? So I am very much craving to be more grounded and rooted this year, to have more of a routine. And now, in the past, routine would have completely scared me. I mean, this word has been, I don't know why, like I I don't really fear anything, but this word I've been fearful of having routine since I can remember. I've just never had a routine ever. Like I've never had a sleep routine. I've That's lasted more than 2 weeks. I used to be like, hey, get up at 4 a.m. This It's just never lasted. I've thought about like why is this routine not worked for me, and I just because I haven't really put effort in for it to try or find one that aligns with me. And I've also never had, since I was 16 or 15, like 15, 16, I've never had a living place where I've lived more than a few months. Like I've been living alone since a very young age because my parents kicked me out when I was very young. So I just have constantly like lived in a different place. I've lived in, okay, one place I lived in for 1 year, one place I lived in for 7 months, but that was the longest I've ever lived anywhere after 16. And most places I've just been 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. And a lot of that's because I've traveled a lot. And also because the way I traveled was so much cheaper when I was younger. Like it was just so much cheaper. Living in an apartment in Canada was actually more expensive than traveling the way I traveled. So I just never really adopted a routine or been grounded. And I feel like I definitely have learned because of that to find stability within myself. But that being said, I've still just never had this routine. I don't know if it's because my frontal lobe, I think it's starting to develop or what, but I just am craving having my own bed, having a red light panel, getting up in the morning, going to hot yoga. Oh my God, I'm craving this so much. I feel like I did it. I traveled, I lived, I did this certain thing. I'm just so over traveling. I want to have a routine where I can consistently write. And I think that's also been a theme where it's my nervous system would just felt so unsafe everywhere. And I never like had a home, or I never had a place, and the ground was constantly getting ripped from under me, not just in the past, but also this year. There's certain situations that happened where people completely scammed me when I was traveling and left me in some pretty messed up situations. But I do believe that that was a blessing in disguise because it was revealing to me, look, you could have nothing. Someone could scam you thousands of dollars and it could take all your money. You could have $0 in your account. You could have $0. And I don't have a credit card. I just have a debit card, which some people think is stupid, but whatever. I, I just don't want to deal with that. So I had like $0 because someone scammed me all my money this year. And I was like, I have nowhere to sleep tonight. I have nowhere to sleep because this person ripped me off. But I never had fear. Like I started to cry a little bit, then I just felt like hollow. And I was like, I used to have fear when certain things would happen because people have done like pretty vindictive shit to me, but I never had fear. I never had fear. And it showed me like I could have nothing, and it's fine because I can just create my own way. And I am this infinite being on this earth, and I can create anything. So who cares if someone takes away your safety blanket, or someone takes away what you have? I mean, it sucks. Yeah, it's not nice. It's inhumane. But at the same time, it's like, look, you don't, you can just, a new way will appear. You can create something, and you can create your own reality, which I guess I kind of went off topic, but bear with me because I have not talked in a month and a half. Well, since I did my last podcast, which was like 3 weeks ago, because I was going through another dark night of soul, so I had to take a break. But I really want to get into reading, which I think will help with my speaking skills as well. Even though I think the best writers, they don't speak like they write. That's the whole thing about writing. People like read. Some people are like, okay, read books and words will fall off your tongue, which on one end I believe is true, but also when I think about this, the best writers, you go listen to talk, they don't know how to talk because that's why they write. It's like they're trying to express something within them, and great literature is is they're trying to express something within them, and no one that writes great literature speaks like that. That's the whole thing about literature. It's like you write it and you rewrite it, and it's like you have a 500 drafts. Of course, you don't speak like that. But also, I do want to improve my speaking skills. I don't want to speak like other people, and in the future, maybe I will go have a speaking coach and someone that can help me to speak better. But also, I think I can just I don't want to lose the natural cadence I have within my voice, because I don't think it's wrong. The way I speak is very much in fragments and in flow, and I like that because I want to explore these topics. I could come I could create something, and I could talk from a different place. I could talk from a place of more structure, and I can talk from a place of more preaching and more how to. But I feel like the world has so much hows to. I would rather talk like this, but that's not for everyone, right? Not everyone wants the stories, not everyone wants the tangents, but I like it because I think it's authentic and it's something that I wish existed. So I'm going to do it. But that being said, I can always improve. I can always improve on my storytelling. I can always improve on my flow. I can always learn new words. Learning new words is probably my favorite thing to do. Every time I hear a word I don't know, I will go look it up, and I just love it. I love learning. I would love to expand my vocabulary, because the truth is, like, I have not read a lot in my life. I really have not. And I've gone deep into my inner world, but I have not read other worlds outside of me so much. But it's something I do want to do this year. I've just been so consumed with what's going on within me, so I've not explored others' inner worlds. But I think, as cliche and boring as it might sound, I think that would be really nice to actually tackle some of my reading lists this year. And I think that in March, I'm going to start a lot of these things, because I am still traveling until the beginning of March, but beginning of March is my birthday. So I'm considering moving somewhere, because I'm so over traveling. I mean, I said that this year. I was like, I said that last year. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go travel, and I'm going to go to the Pacific Northwest, because I want to move there. I really want to move to the Pacific Northwest, but now I don't really. Maybe in the future, but I don't want to right now. So I'm considering moving. I don't think I'm going to say where, because, like, God, I really want to get an apartment and just get into a routine of writing. I want to focus on this podcast and not focus on the external things and all the little things. That's what I did this year. Now it's to actually go deep, and I'm so excited for that. Like, I feel like I've sifted enough. I'm so excited for that. Anyways, I guess you could call this creating the containers for flow, because the thing is, I'm not ever going to put myself in a routine that is toxic and that doesn't thrive for me, because I still am a woman of one's body. I still prioritize health and longevity above everything. I sleep 12 hours a night, usually, like 12 hours a night. I usually just let myself sleep. I rarely put on an alarm, and that's something I heavily prioritize. But I don't go to sleep early because I get so creative at night. But I'm realizing that I think I get creative at night because it's dark. I love when it's dark and it's quiet. That's why I love the winter so much. And it's just like the world's asleep. It just feels extra quiet. And I feel like sometimes in the summer when it's more light out, I just want to be like on my laptop learning or whatever, and I am like, I should be outside, and I should, because I love nature. But in the winter, I'm like, yes, I get to be a nerd and be a little geek on my laptop. And whoa, I just noticed when I was talking how I'm like doing that thing again where I'm acting so shallow. Like, that's not my voice. But that's the thing. It's like the programming. Anyways, okay. So I do want to try to sleep early. This little section here, it sounds cliche. It gets more interesting, so just stick with me or don't. Whatever, do what you want. But I do want to sleep earlier, because I'm realizing that even if I get so much sleep, I'm still tired sometimes. I'm like, that's not good, and that's because I do think there's something about sleeping past 10, when you sleep, there's something about it. I don't know what it is. I don't know the science, but there has to be, because it's just not good for you. I can feel my cortisol spike, and I'm trying to lower my cortisol. Cortisol takes away your beauty, and I think for the last couple of years, I saw how it had an effect on me in some different ways, and I definitely am trying to lower my cortisol. So I'm truly need to get into a sleep routine. I like, I don't know what it is. I just can never. I'm always alone. I can never get enough time alone. So I revenge procrastinate sleep. And people that revenge procrastinate sleep, it's because they don't feel like they have not got enough time alone. But the thing is with me, like, I am constantly alone. So I I need to have these time block structures, and it's not punishing me. I have to understand this is not to trap me. I feel like I felt like I don't want to be trapped. I want to move to the rhythm of my soul. I don't want to be caged into this whatever system, but it's not. It's like implementing rituals that work better for me. So if I have a morning ritual, I take time for myself. And it's like I get up and I'm so excited to go work on whatever I have to work on. Like, I'm so excited to go sit down. Like, I literally cannot wait. But sometimes if I just maybe go on a walk, that could be good for me. I mean, I don't know. I don't really like going on a walk in the morning. I like sitting down on my computer. But what if I got up earlier, and from like 6 to 8, or whatever time I want to get up, 4 to 6? I don't know. I don't know. If I used to get up at 4. I think 4 may be too early if I want to get like 10 hours plus. I'm going to try to do 11 hours this year. But maybe 10, 11 instead of 12. But I need to go to bed so early. So maybe I'll get up at 6. I don't know. I still need to figure that out, because I want to make a concrete decision, because last year I didn't really set these, like, okay, this is concrete what you have to do. I kind of have to set these, I have these in thoughts and intentions. But this year I'm like, okay, well, if you really want to make change, you're going to have to set some things that you want to explore, but you're also going to have to set some like real boundaries and things that, because if I make a decision in my mind that I'm actually going to do something, I will do it. But that's the thing, I very rarely let myself make that decision. Last year I never made that decision. I was like, no, we're gonna follow it out, but we want to do this. And I you could say I failed, but no, because I never had that concrete plan. Like, I never in my mind made the shift where I'm doing this. Because if I make that decision, just like, it's kind of like walking away from someone. If I make that decision, I have that moment with myself, and I feel that pain and I release it. It's like a choice. If I make that choice, I'm not changing. Like, if I walk away from someone, I made that choice, I'm never getting back together with them or something like that. I make a choice to do something, I'm doing it. So if I make a choice to walk 2 hours a day, I'm doing it. But and I tell myself it's for this amount of time that I will do it, because I trust myself. But that's why I never make that choice, because I'm like, I'm not going to set myself up for failure. So I definitely would have to get into a sleep routine, that and that probably means not drinking matcha at 5 p.m. And there's certain things what I would have to explore, but I really would want to get into that. Also, soaking up the sun more, which it's hard to do because it's winter. I did spend so much of the winter in the sun, but when it came to summer, I just didn't. I don't know what was wrong with me. I did not go outside so much. Um, but I definitely want to get more sun, I guess. Sun is very good for you, and it's very healing. Okay, what else did I say? This stuff is kind of I'll have a couple more boring ones. Right. So I hardly cook anymore, and I I don't know. My relationship with cooking has been weird. Like, I want a nice kitchen to cook in. Like, I feel like if I have a nice kitchen, I love cooking. But at the same time, whenever I cook something and it's very elaborate, I'm like, I'm never doing that again, because there's a million pots, there's a million pans. I'm like, I'm never doing that again. And most of the time, just because I eat single ingredient foods, I just don't cook meals. Like, I will eat a banana, I'll eat apple. And my diet is like 90% fruit. I eat so much fruit. And yeah, I don't really cook anymore, but I miss cooking soups and things like this. I miss cooking things. I really want to get into cooking proper meals, and not every night, but again, this goes back into the sections of the day. I find like your brain can't work all day every day. And I have to tell myself like I cannot be productive all day every day, and it's okay to take time. So I think having that dinner time to like really wind down and to, okay, we're gonna do this and then we're gonna clean up, because I also am horrible at cleaning up. It's like my worst trait. I think, and I want to become better at it, because I think it's kind of making me sad. Having Being messy is just, I hate it. Like I hate that about myself. It makes me sad, but it's because my brain is just like doesn't deem it important. Like I have more important things to do. It's not that important. But I realize like how much environment impacts me, and having a nice environment and a nice space makes a huge difference on me and uh my creative levels and just my well-being. So I definitely want to put more energy into that. There's I have like this I have this Pinterest board, and I have like I've had this since I was, I don't even know, like maybe 14. So I have like 1,000 pins about things I want to cook, and I just never do cook any of these things. I think the things I really want to get into is, again, soups. Like I saw this thing about turmeric, ginger, coconut curry soup or something like that. It was like thinner. I think that'd be so cool, and cooking with more vegetables that are good for you. But I need to go down that rabbit hole again, because I'm constantly learning how vegetables are not good for you. Anyways, um when it comes, I continued this list. So yeah, so I guess this ties into the having I guess this ties into it. So learning to stop without collapsing. So that's my problem. That's my problem. I have trained myself to sleep when I collapse, and sometimes that means 2 a.m., 4 a.m. It's not healthy. Um, I definitely am a workaholic. Like I work so much, which also is ridiculous. For I'm not like, I probably work more than most people, but then besides sleeping or besides walking, but at the same time, if I'm not walking or sleeping, like I am working on myself. I'm hardly distracted. There's times I do get distracted, but I'm hardly distracted. I'm very mentally disciplined, I feel like, when it comes to work, but it's because I just also love working. I love sitting down to work. It's not discipline if you really love to do it. I think discipline is like doing something you don't want to do. It's more so devotion. Yeah, I just really want to change how I approach things. So not work less, but just change the system I'm operating in. But also I do want to like do less sit down work and work in different ways. Like I want to watch more movies, and I just have not watched movies. I watched probably less than 5 movies in the last 3 years. I don't watch TV. I don't want things to condition me, or I'm very sensitive to external stimuli. And I think the more you go down this path of self inquiry and detoxing from programming, you realize how it's just so clear to you how so many things are just trying to program you, or how dark some things are. And even with music, like I have hardly listened to music anymore. I listen to classical music a lot. It's not just conditioning. It's like when I listen to music, I listen to one sad song, suddenly like I'm thinking about and manifesting pain from the past. And I don't want that anymore. Like I used to kind of like, okay, feel into it, but then I realized like I was kind of manifesting it. And I know that sounds really annoying. Like I'm like, oh, it's just music, and it's music is healing, and you can feel seen from listening to music that you felt resonate with you from a certain amount of time. And I have the most, like I put so much hours into creating my playlist, but I still have these playlists, but at the same time it's like a lot of these playlists I've had were like years ago, and I've not listened to in years. And I have them because it served a chapter in my life that felt like I was going through that, but I don't listen to them anymore. I did listen to some music, quite a music this summer, and I realized like how much it brainwashed me, and I don't know, like manifested to my life. And I definitely don't want to listen to music actually in this new year, or be very like extra intentional with it. I'll just listen to classical music because again, I'm just trying to cut out distractions at an even more intense level. And besides stalking a few people, which I'm not doing anymore. It's evil eye. It's not evil eye. It's like just stalking a couple people I was curious about. I don't look up people's Instagram feeds. I haven't since I think like 2022, and thank God that has helped me on so many different levels. I love the internet. I'm not like I hate social media. I love it. I was so fascinated about it. I was so interested and fascinated with the internet when I was younger. I was so obsessed with it, Tumblr and all these things. But now I think the internet had a really big impact on my mental health when I was younger. Like it completely warped my brain and changed me. And when you're a young girl growing up on the internet, that's what it does. Before your frontal lobe is developing, once you're stripped of who you are and you're looking at things, I don't know, it's like it's so easy to think about now, like of course, like don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. But again, it just has such immense impact on us, and to deny that is like it's just insensitive. Like you can be out of something and be like, well, see something clearly, but unless you're in it, you can never like understand the impact it has. And on men and women, it's just had like a very opposing impact. Now I feel like I took a few years off. Even I haven't posted anything for 3 years, and I started posting again, and I just feel like it's not, I don't know, it's like not where I want to be. But I want to get into like creating more from a place of soul and expression. I do want to do more of that in the new year, but that's not my main focus. My main focus is like doing actually deep work. We understanding like where you want your energy to go. So my energy, for the most part, I do want to go more into creating more timeless things, doing what works for me. And I'm realizing that when it comes to more shorter form creation places, it's just not working for me right now, and it's not. It's so I'm just like trying to let go of that a little bit. But also, I think I'm just going to delete the app completely from my phone. It's really toxic. Like I think that it can be, if you can find certain people and be very intentional, it's that inspire you, that's great, because there's really like inspiring people out there. And I think the internet was cool, and I think it's making a comeback to be like, I think people, I feel this collective shift of people that are wanting the internet to be cool again, like make the internet great again. I'm definitely like want that too, because there's cool people out there. It's just like not what the algorithm rewards or has rewarded, especially the short form platforms like TikTok and Instagram. But I think for TikTok, it's like very runes, like you get on there and you forget what you're going to search up. Like I think I had it because I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna search something up and I'm gonna get someone's advice, but it's like you can't even trust people anymore because people don't care about being authentic, and they just care about like the money. And then it's like, I'm not saying everyone's like this, but I just think having TikTok on my phone is like really, really not good for me. Like I get sucked into this loop, and even I have like such strong mental discipline. I don't watch movies much, or like I don't go drinking. I get sucked in to that, and that's saying something. Like that's powerful, and you can definitely learn so much on that. But I think I'm going to just delete it off my phone for this year. I want to explore more things that don't necessarily have meaning, but contribute to something, because I am pretty much incapable of doing something unless I'm like, what's the point? I'm like, what is the point of doing this? And sometimes I'm like, if I want to get into a hobby, I'm like, okay, my brain, I'm like, how can I turn this into a business? Because there's no way that I'm going to allow myself that much time to pour into something unless I can create something from it. And that's just, I don't think it's wrong. That's just how my brain works. Like I literally cannot find reason to do something if there's no meaning behind it. I can't. And that's just how I am. Okay, like not everyone works the same. There's things that I'm like, okay, well, I wish I had a partner because of this. I'm like, seriously, that's the one reason why you wish you had a partner, so you could go on dinner dates, you could go to cool places like once in a while. Like I'm not like, once every week or Friday or every Saturday. I can do that by myself. Why can't I not do that by myself? So I think that's something, especially starting in March, if I do move to where I'm wanting to move, like I will go out to dinner or something and I'll bring my journal and not my laptop. Like I'll go and I'll bring my journal and I will journal something or I'll write something or I'll go to the movies or something or just something like that. Like every Friday night, I think that's what I'll do. Like every Friday night, I'll have a me night where I can just do something that's being creative because it has to be creative. I need that meaning, but also kind of romantic and like dating myself and be romantic because I'm always alone, but I never like date myself much. Okay, so when it comes to other things I'm creating, which I've kind of jumped back and forth, so I want to write one essay about a week, but at the same time, like I write in spurts. There's times where I'm like I'm not writing, like I just want to write. Like this past week I wrote 3 essays, and that's a lot for the things I wrote about. So because I often will write something where I'm like I need to process what's going on. And last week I was going through the shift on this weekend, and I'm like, how am I so, now it's Friday, like 1 week ago I was going through this major shift, and I was like contemplating if we were even human. Hear me out. Like I was contemplating, because the thing is, like I'm like, we are here alone and everyone's a reflection back to you. And I was thinking about AI, and I was thinking about how AI is an interface. But I was thinking, like I was really in a different state, and I was thinking about the interface and how you don't need this like romantic connection anymore because it's an interface. It's like reflecting back to you, but when you have it, you don't need it. And so it's like when you're done seeking, you don't need it anymore. So when people talk to AI, people think AI is evil, but AI is just to, what does it do? It's a mirror. It reflects back to you, right? So it's like it's bringing you closer to your soul if you use it. But eventually you realize like, oh my gosh, it's reflecting me. So everything is just consciousness and awareness and your experience. Like no one else is here, other people are here. So I was contemplating whether we are actually human, because there's no proof that we are human. There's no proof that we are human, because this could be just sensory details. But anyways, I was in another state. I won't go into that because and I was going to say people are going to start calling me crazy, but you know what? I'm going to stop manifesting that, because when I'm saying it, I'm manifesting out loud, and I don't manifest that because whatever. People are not going to call me crazy, and if they do, then who cares? Who cares? Because I don't need people to understand me, and I don't need to dim or not say what I truly mean and try to shallow what I'm saying so other people will understand, right? I don't need to do that, because of course I would sound crazy. I would, not am, I would sound crazy to the conditioned world. Of course I would, okay? Even before, if I was conditioned, I would be like, oh yeah, this woman's crazy. I'm not crazy. Yeah, so the main thing is I just really want to be way more consistent though with writing. Like I am one of those people that I'm like, I'm a writer. I don't write. What is wrong with me? It's just, it's nothing's wrong with me. It's just that was the journey I was on. Like I had to sift through things. I had to conceptualize things in my mind for a long time and process things before I can actually take action to do it. And a lot of writing for me is like a lot of, okay, I had to live the story, but then I had to live the story. I had to process things, because sometimes I don't process things until, like, it takes me years to process something. And that's normal, like, especially when you go through very traumatic things and you go through, like, if you go through physical abuse or something, there's sometimes, like, you're not going to actually remember it until years later or months later, because you're trying to survive, and it's really scary because your brain, like, your brain protects you and you don't remember. It's repressing their memories, and then you'll be like, what the hell? And you'll have just like complete it's just like your memory's back, and you're like, what? Whoa. It's just a complete different perspective on it. So, and then it's like conceptualizing your brain, like how you're going to say it. And there's sometimes like, well, I'm just walking or something, and I'll have like, oh my god, this is how I'm going to start this book, or this is how I'm to start this book, and this is where I'm going to end it. So I've done a lot of conceptualizing in my mind, but now I'm like, I really have to start writing, because I've been writing this first book since 2021, or kind of started it and then really started 2022 actually. I'm like, okay, no, this is like what I'm meant to write. That was my first one. I feel like my life, like I'm probably on book 4, but I'm like, I haven't even finished the first one. I'm like, I really want to write and this year, and just like go down the deep end and dive, because you can have a story and you can have something to say, but it doesn't mean you're a good writer. And so I've been trying to figure out my voice, which is like, I'm still trying to strengthen my writing voice. And I think I don't want to just, it's not just what I have to say, it's about like, I want to be like really great when it comes to literary writing and my style. I'm still experimenting and figuring out, which is okay. Like, we should experiment. So right now I'm just kind of experimenting different fragments of thought through essays, but how I write essays is not how I'd write a novel. So I'm really wanting to go into that. So let's see if I think I did not write. That's all I actually wrote down. But now that I'm thinking about what is this, the major thing that I've learned, it's one, to see myself better. I see myself so much more than I did at the beginning of the year. I've practiced a lot of self forgiveness and self compassion, and sifted through that uncomfortableness and shame, and really just been there for myself. So now it's like, I don't have a fear of success or a fear to be seen anymore, which I I've had such a fear of being seen, because I think, of course, you don't want to be seen. Your nervous system is not putting that out there, that I want to be seen, when you don't feel comfortable in your own skin, because it's like your body has been trained to operate in a certain way, and that's not who your soul is. So when you're sitting with yourself, that's not who I am, and there's this disconnect. And that's also where the shame comes, because you're like, this feels not like myself, and it's not coming across as myself. So it's having that compassion and understanding, like, I don't need I don't need the outside critic. If whatever anyone has to say, like, I always appreciate kindness, and I think we need more of it, because the internet, I've seen through other people, like, how cruel the internet is, and how so many people, it's like they're just constantly nitpicking you. Yeah, I've just had fear of success tied to so many different things. My perfectionism, which I understand is so much, it's not a word, so much tied, whatever, really pretends word, proper way of saying it, it's so heavily, there we go, tied to my trauma. And it's like, it's not even reality. It's not even reality that about things. Like, I think about things in my life. I'm like, why are you so hard on yourself? Like, what have you done? The worst thing you've done is what, this? That's fine. Like, you talk about this stuff and you're right. I'm just so hard on myself, and I was like so embarrassed for acting in a way. I was so shameful for acting in a way that was not me. But at the same time, you do become your trauma unless you break free from that and unravel. And I was my trauma, and I was not showing up in a way that I felt like was my soul. So now I'm getting closer to it. Obviously, there's so much more. Well, not obviously, but there's so much more that I want to grow into my soul. I'm really excited for that. But the major thing is that even if I've got nothing done tangibly, I have unbecame a lot of who I was not, and I shed certain layers, and I've gotten even more clarity about how I want to do certain things. And now it's like, if something were to succeed in something tangibly, then I'll be okay. Like, I feel like I'm getting better at being seen. I've been reprogramming my nervous system to hold more, and to understand that you're not meant to be understood, and it's okay. And understand that, like, none of it's personal. And because of that, I feel like I connect more to my work. I can connect more to my truth without stumbling, without laughing it off. I can not consider the outside critic, because it's not relevant. Like, it's just not relevant. I think if you are being authentic and you actually do have good intentions, and there's nothing to be fearful of. So I think the fear also does stem from something so much deeper, which I'm not going to get into my conspiracy theories in this video. I'm very excited because, oh, that's the next thing. That's the next thing I'm very excited about, is because I know now I can create my own reality. And this is major. I can create my own reality. I was waiting for so long. I was waiting, like, okay, well, I just got so used to waiting because I felt like I would just do things. And I'm like, okay, well, it's not my time yet. It's not my time yet. It's not my time yet. And I just became this waiting game instead of understanding you can create your own reality, which I kind of understood before, but not from this psychological level. I kind of understood, well, okay, you take action and you get momentum and things like this. But I don't know why I just started waiting. I guess I do believe in divine timing, but I also believe if I want to move somewhere, I don't have to wait as much as I think I do. Yes, things take time. I have to create videos so I can sustain myself heavier. Like, I can move to where I want to move and move to the place I want to move. Because for me, like, I also don't want to move if, like, I'm just going to be in a place where I don't like, where I can't be creative. Like, I want to move to somewhere and I want to have a nice environment. And if not, I'm just, like, going to continue traveling. I'm not going to move, you know. But I realized, like, I don't have to say what if. I have to believe. I have to make the shift in my mind. And I have to really believe that I can. And I have to act like I can do. No, I'm moving. Like, right? I still have not made that shift in my mind, but I'm going to work on that. And it just requires some more, like, internal shifts I have to do, and actually, like, not letting the fear come up and programming, because I want that. Like, I've really got clear what I want, and I know what I want for this year, and I'm really excited for that. And I want that stability. I can have it if I just do these internal shifts in my mind, because that's how that's how the world works, and we don't realize that. Like, we are not taught that's how it works. We are taught, like, we are all programmed, aware of it or not, we are all programmed to, okay, well, we need to think logically, we need to save, we need to do this. But there's other ways in the universe. Like, the world is so magical. It's so magical. And I knew it was magical. We don't realize how magical it is and how we can actually shift our realities. I'm trying to say this in a way that doesn't sound so woo-woo. But it is the true reality of the world. What we believe, we are programming into our reality. So if we even say, well, I can't afford that, well, that's going to manifest. You just programmed yourself. You're programmed to reality. So I have to do some reprogramming work on myself to say, I can move here. I can do this. It's not about, like, I can do this from, like, a work standpoint. It's that I will shift my internal belief, internal knowing, and then the world has no choice but to give it to me. Like, I've shifted my program, my reality. So it's going to give it to me. But it's not about holding on and attaching to it. It's like believing it so you let it go. Detachment. You have to fully believe it. Because if you're just like, well, I shifted, but you don't actually you sit there and you manifest and you felt the emotion, but you don't actually believe it, it's not going to happen. That's the thing with me. Like, I've always been, like, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I didn't realize it. Like, I was so surrendered to God at certain points this year. Not God. I hate that word. No, I don't. I don't hate that word. God implies, I feel like, something different than what. I mean, I've used the word God, then I had this realization I need to stop using the word God, because I don't know if it's the right word. God implies religion, and religion I do not believe in. Religion's the devil, I think. And that's the thing. The whole thing about religion, isn't it all based off Jesus? And this is what I'm trying to explain. This is what Jesus knew. Jesus is the ultimate alchemist, the ultimate manifester. Jesus knew, walk the way the water appears. Jesus knew, make and manifest your entire reality. Okay, well, bread appeared or whatever out of nowhere. I've never read the Bible, but bread appeared or something like that out of nowhere. Fish, wasn't there fish that appeared? Right? Because he manifested it and he believed it, and the universe has no other option but to give it to you. So I know there's still doubt in my mind. I'm like, okay, well, but it's not true. I've experienced before when I wanted to come to London. I was like, I want to go to London, and I didn't even do it the strength that I could have done it, and I manifested it, and this opportunity appeared, And it was so effortless, so effortless. It was just like, wow. It was like, but now I'm like, okay, well, you've already tasted this, you've already experimented, you've already quantum leaped, but let's do it again, let's do it stronger. And I'm like, hey, well, what do I want? I'm going to get very, very, very clear on what I want. And I'm going to figure out, because I still am like, how figure out how I can do this and like have full belief and not listen to the fear, because I feel like when things rise up, it doesn't really work for me to just push it down, suppress it. Like I actually tend to have to get to the root cause of things for me to like actually dissolve it. But I really want to do, but that's all I will say for this video, because I feel like I've rambled enough. Also, what you want might change as the year goes on, and that's okay too. But I've wanted this for a while, and I feel like I'm in touch with myself and my inner compass to know like this is what the next step is for me. This is what I want. This is, I'll probably move again like in the future, because I'm never really staying in one place for so long. I like to experience different realities, but I've done enough research also about places to know where I want to go. And it's different than I thought even a year ago, which also makes me understand why I could never really move there, because I actually don't believe I was like meant to. Maybe in the future, I don't know. Anyways, that's all I can think about right now about my reflection about the new year, even though isn't like the real new year in April or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't take it too seriously. I just reflect, and then if I'm going to implement certain things, which I'll have to sit down with myself and be like, have a conversation and be like, hey, if this is what you want, we're doing it. So don't just say you're gonna do it. Like we need to make that shift in my mind, because if I'm committing, I'm committing. So I need to really think about some things about my sleep schedule and my walking, because I really want to get into exercising again and working out again. I won't have access to a gym until March, so I'm hoping a lot of this will start to take place in March. But there's still things that you can do no matter where you are. If you're not in your ideal setting, there's still things like you can do, you can implement until you get to an ideal setting, which does take time, which I also don't want to dismiss. Anyways, that's all.